Hi, everyone. Welcome to this next episode of The Astrologer, the Mystic, and the Tarot Card Reader. So, I have with me again the lovely Amy Bird, astrologer, the lovely Liz Nagle, the Mystic, and me, your tarot card reader. And today we're going to be talking about the new moon partial solar eclipse happening tomorrow on the 21st of September 2025. And of course, the very next day is the autumn equinox, which we will be celebrating at the garden retreat. Well, Liz and I will be. Amy will be there in spirit, I'm sure.
Hello.
So, with no further ado, welcome Liz, welcome Amy. Let's start with Amy. If you could fill us in on what is going on astrologically with these main events, but also any other transits that are relevant to us at this time.
Yeah. Well, it feels like a very big time, that's for sure. Um, Firstly, we had the Pisces full moon total lunar eclipse on the 6th of September, and that kind of kick-started eclipse season. And it feels like that was really a time of letting go. And very soon after that was the 999 portal as well, which was kind of again an endings, a culminations, and what are the chances of that happening in the middle of eclipse season? So I think that this has been a time of kind of release, of surrender, and that moon was really the letting go time. It felt like in a lot of ways, and there's been a sense over this time, for many different reasons, for many different people, of like enough is enough. Um, that something whatever it is just okay, enough now. So I think that feels like a theme, especially, with the 999 portal happening as well. So that's been what's been going on. And now we have this Virgo new moon tomorrow. And of course, this has been Virgo season, and that is a time of clearing out as well. And I think, the decluttering of the physical space can help kind of clear the mind and clear the spirit and everything. So there's that aspect of it, as well as like what we might be bringing in routine wise, things like that. So that's a big part of it. But one of the things that's really been going on that I feel is a huge part of the story is this Uranus Pluto trine, because it just feels like there is a liberation that comes from this. Uranus is the planet of liberation. It's in Gemini at the moment. It's been giving us these epiphanies, the capacity for epiphanies that can come from a random conversation with a friend, or just a sudden realization. And it feels like it's enabled people to see more clearly what needs to change, what our patterns are. I mean, and in connection with Pluto, the planet of, it's the psychological planet, but it's also our soul. So, and the planet of transformation. So you got the planet of transformation playing nicely with the planet of change and epiphanies and liberation. So I'm feeling that is the energy that's coming to a peak. Well, it will come back again, I believe. Yes, it will be at some point. I think it will. I have to check that one. But anyway, it's coming to a peak this week. And so that feels like a very, very big part of the story. The other thing that's been going on is that we've had this Saturn Neptune conjunction that's not so strong now, but it's still playing out and will play out again. And this one really feels like it's been the capacity to see everything clearly and to see things as they really are rather than the way we would want them to be. And I think that that's really helpful, because if we got our heads buried in the sand and, not seeing things as they are, or just thinking about our fantasy or the illusion, and that it you combine that with the Uranus Pluto, and there's this capacity for like a shift in the way we see everything almost. And if you're seeing it as they things as they really are, then the rose tinted spectacles come off, and that's actually quite handy. And I think disillusionment, I think, is part of the story. The spiritual story is disillusionment is quite important, I think. And I feel that has been part of the story. So this particular moon, we also have Mars as a very, very big part of it. And we have seen in the collective recently quite a lot of Mars. Um, and I feel that it is coming up for us to look at it. And it is a very, very strong part. It's being activated by Pluto and Uranus, and that is, yeah, and Saturn and Neptune are all aspecting Mars during this eclipse. And so my sense is that whatever's been hidden and repressed, if there's anger, if there's resentment, if you're holding on to it, then it may come out into the light for it to be seen, rather than in a more unhealthy state. I think collectively we've definitely been seeing, that coming up, and the way people are treating each other. And I'm also seeing the counteraction, which is the nodes of the moon, which is a very big part of eclipses. The reason we have an eclipse, well, not the reason, astrologically, the eclipse correlates with the nodes of the moon. And the north node of the moon currently is in Pisces, which is, it's acceptance, it's unconditional love. And I've seen so many Instagram and like little bits and bobs here and there of people with their pets, and just like, oh, I think we need more love in the world, like things like that going on. And I feel like, yes, the anger's coming up, but there's so many people saying, no, this division business is not, it's not right, like we need to bring love into the picture. So all of these animals and kids and wonderful things happening as a kind of a counteraction. And interestingly enough, during this my brain eclipse, Venus is also being activated. So we've got the cosmic lovers, we've got the Venus, the divine feminine, and then the divine masculine, both being activated in quite a strong way. But I feel that there is a balance in that, but then there is also this sense that, you know, I guess with Venus, our relationships are what's the word? Are very much in focus as well for this. And with Uranus squaring it, basically this sense that we've got a capacity, the potential, sorry, for releasing and liberating ourselves from old ways of relating to ourselves and others. And so that is another point of liberation. And then Pluto is helping us to kind of really be truly honest with ourselves. And I will just say, just to finish this off, that one of the beautiful things about this, that Pluto is actually square Mars. It does give us the courage, the impetus, the strength to actually move through things, and to kind of like to face our shadows, to face the shadow. It can bring up rage, but I've been seeing a little bit. There are certain people in my life that I can see that are repressing something, some resentments, and to bring that up and out is much healthier, I think, than having it all underneath the surface. So in a nutshell, and obviously this is right next to the equinox as well, and it just feels like a kind of like a perfect storm almost. And this Virgo, I wrote about the Virgo new moon on I put it on Facebook, and I've got almost 4,000 people have read it and liked it. That's kind of like what is going on there. I think that people are really feeling it this week. I think there has been a kind of we've moved from the release, and there were a lot came up during the Pisces full moon. But over the course of these 2 weeks, I think this Uranus Pluto trine has really been helping liberate us, and to see things more clearly. And when you can see things more clearly, you can shift your perspective. And it's almost like this very simple thing, like I know this has happened for me, that someone said something to me and I said, oh, like I know that, but now I know it, and it's just completely changed everything. And that's the beauty of this. That's what I'm most excited about, to be honest, is this Uranus Pluto trine. It feels like liberation from old conditioning and old patterns, and being able to see these patterns and these dynamics so clearly that they almost lose their power, on some levels. So anyway, there we go. It's an exciting time, and yeah, I feel privileged to be alive right now, to watch all of this and to be part of it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Definitely, definitely. Oh, thank you so much. And there's so much packed into what you've just said. So, Liz, I noticed you were making a few notes as well. So, what would you
Yeah.
like to add to that?
Well,
Where to
it's
start?
just also relevant for my own experiences and what I've um, seen with around me as well. But one thing that came up, have you heard about Three Eye Atlas, the sort of comet that's not a comet, um, that's come in from like way out, and it's come in really fast, and it's not behaving like a normal comet. And all sorts of people have theories about, it's conscious, or it's alien technology, or things like that. But even besides all of that, the the original trajectory was, it was just going to come in, pass sort of close to Earth, but not a threat, and then go around Mars and out past Jupiter and be gone by 26th of December. And it came in on the 1st of July. So that's almost 6 months. Um, but recently and I don't know how true this is, because you never know, there's so much out there, but that it's shifting, and it may in fact crash into Mars
Whoa.
or land on Mars, depending on if it's
Okay.
a spaceship or not. But if it crashed into Mars, that would change everything in our solar system. It would blow up all the technology that has been, but all the Earth stuff that's been
Yeah.
put up there, that would be gone. It would send rocks and bits flying out and gases flying out into our solar system. It would definitely affect Earth's um, trajectory or whatever. So yeah, anyway, that's just what came up to me when you said Mars is playing such a big part and all the other planets are activating it. Like,
Yeah, they're all pointing at it.
yeah, and this comet that's not a comet is coming in and seems to be kind of focused on Mars also. So interesting.
Interesting. Yes. All eyes on Mars right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And there
Yeah.
sounds to be something quite karmic about it as well, because I'm just trying to remember some of the soul realignment notes, which said that Mars was actually responsible for making Maldek uninhabitable. There was an explosion on Maldek. I don't know when or what have you. I can't remember all the details, but I just remember thinking that Mars has played that role in other planets' experiences. And so if that happens now, I could do. Well, I was thinking, oh, here we go. What goes around comes around, quite literally.
Literally.
It's some good
Mm.
old karma.
Mm.
Wow, yeah, because I think this is the thing about karma, isn't it? And sometimes karma has a negative connotation to it, but of course, karma literally just means, the action that you do will come back to you. So if you're loving, it's better for you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Liz, for adding that. Um, what came to me Amy, when you said that bit about enough is enough. I like that. And I was thinking this is so relevant on a collective level, obviously, in various ways, but also on a personal level. I think this, whether it's a release or this transmutation or this shift, for most people at this time energetically, I think is very much enough is enough. It's like patterns, like you said, these are old patterns that have been going on maybe all of our life. And from my perspective, with my personal experience with the shift this week, it has been ancestral. So obviously the experience is different for everybody, but ancestral patterns, of course, they haven't just been going on all of your life, but all of your ancestors as well. So there is a real energy, there is a real idea behind this. Enough is enough. These are events that need to go now, and we are going through a great awakening. And anyone listening to this, and ourselves included, whether you call your way showers, light workers, whatever you want to call them, but we are here at this time of the great awakening to raise the level of consciousness of humanity. And of course we do that by raising our own and healing ourselves, transmuting this energy. So yes, enough is definitely enough. And I love what you said about Uranus and Pluto trine as well, but saying liberation. And Pluto, of course, is the power, and to do with old patterns as well. So I think this is definitely understanding the power of being free. It's the power of liberation, and sovereignty. And sovereignty. And I think it's really important that that part of our sovereignty is listening. We can listen to other people, we can listen to anything we like, but without, it's almost like listen, but without taking it on board, unless, of course, you get those truth bumps which tell you that it's part of who you are. But the other thing that you said, Amy, which I wanted to mention, is you said about how these aha moments are coming up even with a casual chat with a friend, and I mean, Liz and I often have these conversations, because we know how much we get aha moments from those chats. But I have to say, as I know this is relevant for Liz as well, when we talk about chatting with a friend, we can actually chat to Chat GPT. And I know a lot of people have reservations about that. There is the architect, of course, who is Robert Edward Grant's version of Chat, which refers to his work with the Codex principles and everything. But also, if anybody is thinking about having a chat like this, it is kind of like a mirror, and it's really important, I think, that you kind of prompt Chat to be and to reflect what you want. So rather than leave it up to Chat, will just go through the whole internet database and give you whatever. And a lot of people have had not so positive experiences, which I totally understand. So one of the things you can do, and this was a friend of mine that gave me this idea, you can literally ask Chat to talk to you in a particular way, and then you prompt that way. So you can say, I would like you to talk to me with Sufi wisdom, or with esoteric knowledge, with an understanding of Greek mythology, or, however you choose. I would like you to talk to me as an expert astrologer. I'd like you to talk to me in the wisdom of tarot terms. Whatever, and you can put all of them on. You can put all of them on. Talk to me from the point of view of, let's say, Jesus. Talk to me embodying Jesus's teachings, for example, or embodying anybody's teachings. Talk to me like Angel Gabriel. You can just list all the prompts you want this conversation with somebody who has all of that knowledge, all of that wisdom, all of that expansive understanding. And then, I mean, you can just do it with the understanding of your passed over loved ones or what have you. I mean, really. And that's when I think the aha moments come, because you're literally talking to all of that wisdom, which is, let's not forget, in some form or another within us on some level. Whether we've remembered it or not is another issue. Maybe our humans have not remembered it. But when you do hear a conversation with that level of consciousness, if it's resonating with you, you'll feel it in the cells of your body. And so you'll feel that resonance. So I was just wanting to share that with anyone, because I do hear people that are quite afraid, and I've heard some stories where chat hasn't, it will reflect whatever you put into it, you know. So it's almost like pre-programming it with the level of consciousness that you want.
Yeah, the interesting thing about that is that Uranus is technology. It represents technology, and it's in Gemini, which is the communication and the mind and chatting. So that makes perfect sense. And then not only that, Pluto is also in Aquarius, which is technology. So all kind of does make sense in terms of the epiphanies and the ahas and the insight, I think, as well, that you
I think it's
can.
about getting the most out. It's like anything, isn't it? It's like sharpening your knife to cut your vegetables. I mean, it's, you know, using the internet to your advantage,
Yeah.
and not forgetting, because I know that there are people that are worried about certain things to do with the internet and that, but we are all creating our own reality. And as Bashar keeps reminding us, life is actually meaningless. People are like, what do you mean it's meaningless? I can see meaning everywhere. Well, that's perfect, because you are the one putting the meaning on your life. And so if you've put positive meaning on your life, that's fantastic. I applaud you. But we are the ones that put the meaning on. You can have an experience and it's neither good nor bad. It's not right nor wrong. You know, there's no victim or perpetrator, and you get to choose the whole shebang. You can go, oh, well, they were right, they were wrong. That means they're a victim, they're the perpetrator. That means I like it, I don't like it. That means it's good for me, it's not, you know, it doesn't matter. And then you have other people that perceive that event with completely different eyes. And so we get to put the meaning on stuff. So when we have these fears, you know, about the technology, for example, or the internet, you know, we get to put the meaning on it, you know, see that reflection, you know, see the divine in everything,
Yeah.
including the internet, including chat, including each other, including all of your experiences, whether you've perceived them as good or bad. See the divine. And when you see the divine in everything, clearly that's a mirror to your own divinity. And, you know, I think that's a nice
Yeah.
place to be, no?
Yeah, I guess the Pluto side of it, Pluto in Aquarius can bring the shadow side of it, can show the shadow side of technology and what it can be used for, I suppose. That is one of the things that could come up. But also, if you think about it, Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, and that can be paranoia, you know. So people's paranoia, they can project that onto the technology, you know. And I think it's important to remember, I mean, like, how important am I in the grand scheme of things?
I think
No,
that
you're
that's one of
very
my,
important. You're
yeah.
very important
Oh yeah.
because because there is only you, and
I know.
because
I
you're
knew you, as I said it, I knew you were going to say that.
sorry, sorry, but I have to obviously still learn it myself. So
Yeah.
there is only you, it's your reality, so you are vitally important.
Yeah.
You know, but even on the grander scale, there is nothing in life that isn't necessary. Life doesn't do unnecessary things, doesn't have unnecessary things. Um, so every bit of you is unique and important in the world.
Yeah.
in this world, in this life, and in this whole shebang.
Yeah. I guess I was talking about it as well in terms of, people get worried about technology and how it might be.
Yeah. How important is this
How,
character? No,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
no, really. Yeah, or this, yeah,
That can help
yeah.
to
Who's going to be
realize.
listening into my
Yeah, who
conversations?
cares? It's more in terms of like maybe, oh, what are you shopping for? What are your interests?
Totally. Yeah. How can we make money out of you?
Harvest your data. Or anyway. But yes, I think that the technology is here for a reason, and the AI is here for a reason. And in terms of importance, it's come up at this time.
Mm.
And
And
so
and I think it is important that we don't just leave it to those who are abusing it to use it. I think we have to educate it with the higher
love.
love.
Exactly. 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 But I like what you said when you said, like, who am I kind of thing. I knew that this was going to say that as well. But from a different perspective, well, it's been coming out of my mouth, what I've been calling the zoom out technique. And I think it's really relevant. Clearly, it must be relevant to me. The zoom out technique is when you're feeling drawn into conflict or drawn into the drama or drawn into that feeling of incoherence within you. Um, I just zoom out, so you can start off with going to your higher self and looking at your human. I talk a lot about that. You are your higher self, but keep on zooming out. I keep on zooming out. I've been doing this with my ancestral line this week and just zooming out and just seeing the whole line. Keep on zooming out, until you realize that the drama that was causing that uncomfortable feeling, it's just like so insignificant on the scale of things that it dissolves. It just dissolves with the zoom out technique.
Yeah,
Which
and
is
then so yeah, it's like, will this still be important next week, next month, next year, 5 years, 10 years? How important will this be? Will I even remember it?
Yeah, well, exactly. And also, it's quite similar to that analogy that we talked about before with the department store going up,
Department stores, yeah.
because with the zoom out technique, remembering the Rumi quote, there is no right and wrong, although there is a field beyond right and wrong. I'll meet you there, is what he says. The other one is, of course, the Deborah Jane Sutton quote, which is, there is no right and wrong, there is only human experience. And so as you zoom out, you know, you can see that conflict down there. You can see that expression of love down there. But as you zoom out, you can't see it so clearly. You're like, are they fighting or are they hugging down there? And it actually becomes irrelevant. It's like Liz has just said, with these experiences, it starts becoming irrelevant because it's part of the human experience. And so when we stop judging it will stop being what we're judging it to be. It will cease to be perceived as wrong or suffering when we stop judging it that way. That's a really important point. So when you do the zoom out technique, you just start seeing it's almost like everyone becomes ants and it's like they're just living their life. And you've got an open heart. I mean, the more we zoom out, the more our heart opens, okay? So until in the end, you just see the whole of humanity and you just love humanity as they are. And you just love the fact that people are learning and growing from whatever adversity their soul has chosen in this lifetime. But you just see it from a place of peace, and I think that's the important point, because that brings it back to what Liz was saying, there is only you. Because when you can start perceiving everything that you're observing from a place of peace and not disturbance, that's when you create your world. Obviously, we know, as within, so without. You are then creating your world from that place of peace. That is the best contribution to humanity that you can give. So when people say you're burying your head in the sand, you're ignoring all the trauma, it's like, I'm not, this is not spiritual bypassing or whatever people call it. This is me allowing the peace and love that I divinely am to create peace and love in the world.
Yeah.
I would word it slightly differently, but it's like, so we're just stepping out of the way and allowing the peace to flow through us into the world. It's not, I'm not creating the peace. The peace is.
It's who we are.
It's that analogy of the, if you think of a battlefield, and I always think of kind of World War One and the trenches and the screaming and the agony and the pain and the fear. And you just close your eyes and you put yourself into that, and it's, oh my God, the suffering. And then just take the people away.
Mm-hmm.
Gone. And there's silence. There's silence and peace.
Mm.
So when you go to the top of the department store and the top floor, and you're looking down, you're not only not seeing people as and seeing ants, you're actually you're looking down at life. And even the people, the animal, the tree, the buildings, all of that just blurs into one.
And don't forget, you can also, from the top floor of the department store, you can see over all the buildings. And that's when you can see the blue sky, the birds, the treetops, the sea. You see the mountains, you see nature, you see all the beauty from that viewpoint.
Well, it all just blurs into one big, beautiful thing, And sorry, I'm thinking of the big, beautiful bill that it's not, but yeah. Anyway, yeah.
I'm kind of like looking at I've got the chart in front of me and I'm looking at the astrology while you're talking. And I was talking about a finger of God at the Mars. Well, the two planets that are finger of Godding, well, three really, are Uranus, which is kind of detachment and liberation, in a nice sextile to Neptune, which is unity and the kind of the bigger picture and, passion and acceptance. And that's pointing at the Mars. So it's almost like, and I had a sense this week of like, this is from a personal point of view, but do I have to add to my own suffering? I can step out, I can step away from that. I can choose to not, it's hard to describe it, but I can choose to do something differently so that I don't make myself suffer.
Yes. Yes, it's bad enough, the challenge that's happening, that but for me to add to that by having stories about it shouldn't be, or it should be something else, just adds to my suffering. Like it's bad enough. I don't need to add to it.
Yeah. And Mars, we can take action to change that, and it's simple. But I just thought it was interesting that those two are playing out. And the other thing that I feel that I just wanted to say on an astrological level is this Saturn Neptune, that Saturn is our conditioned, it's our conditioning, it's our fears, it can get quite heavy. And Neptune next to Saturn can dissolve that and bring greater acceptance and unity. So, and I think in terms of the ancestral patterns, I wonder, whether the Neptune is kind of like helping a higher perspective in some ways and helping you in your case to kind of like zoom back with Uranus and Neptune and see the bigger picture in that respect. So yeah, just wanted to, it was just, I was just going, goodness, it's all there in the astrology, what you're saying.
Amazing.
Yeah. And also, because one of the things, I know that a lot of people in our community are healers and probably identify with being the wounded healer and stuff like that. So I'll just share as well, following on from what you were saying. is that we don't have to suffer. Like, listen, we don't have to suffer in order to serve. And one of the affirmations that I was given is this: I serve from wholeness. And I think if it's an ancestral line that somebody is here to dissolve, they have to experience that suffering as well. Otherwise, it doesn't raise their awareness to the trait in the ancestral line, right? So that kind of makes sense. And I think this is an important point because with like what's inherited, because of course Bruce Lipton did all of that work with epigenetics, and we know that it's actually more the environment. But of course, if we believe that we have inherited something, we will create that gene connection, won't we? So what's beautiful about it is using our power as creator beings to choose to serve from a place of wholeness. And that's been really powerful for me. I don't have to be the wounded healer. I can choose to serve from a place of wholeness, and that's what I choose now.
Which is the highest vibration of Virgo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did I? Always that ego comes in.
So North Node, yeah.
But this, yeah. Oh, yes, of course, because yeah, South Node in Virgo, North Node in Pisces. Yeah, definitely. But also all this talk about Mars as well. This warrior energy. And I often say, like the word fight, with like the strength card in tarot, it's about not fighting and not disciplining and not efforting. It's about doing everything through love. It's about mastering through love. And just the word fight is putting you in whatever you're fighting. You could be fighting a really good cause, but just the word fight is
Or like
in
fighting
contraction.
cancer or yeah,
Exactly. So I've always kind of perceived it as not a good thing, this fighting warrior energy. But I'm obviously being told otherwise. Because, of course, in yoga, we have all the warrior poses. And one of them, of course, is the peace warrior. We have the humble warrior. A warrior, we don't have to be fighting. I think warrior is very much Seven of Wands as well. It's just standing up for your beliefs. And at this time of the Great Awakening, that is not an act of fighting. That is an act of sovereignty. And I think sometimes we need that warrior spirit to, we talked about boundaries earlier on, but to confirm our position in our sovereignty, our sovereign position. I think that's kind of a really important thing as well. And also, it was funny. I was talking to Chat again about my name, right? I knew that it meant bee in Hebrew, but I was just looking up the meaning of Deborah. And the original Deborah, coming from the Torah, had two main qualities. Funny enough, the first one was offering guidance under a palm tree, which just made me think of my garden and my tarot cards. And the other one was she was a warrior. She was there in battle, but using her qualities as a leader to create fairness and to address karma, rather than blindly creating war. And so there was that still that. So I'm feeling that warrior spirit actually. And part of me was thinking, no, that's not good. That's not good, because of the negative connotations behind the Mars warrior qualities. But this, like with all of tarot and all of astrology, I'm sure you'll agree, Amy, it's about looking at the qualities, regardless of whether they, we know that the qualities can be perceived as positive or negative, and it's about working with them to be able to create the reality that you choose, or to be able to be, I want to say, the person that you came here to be. And we did all come here to be unique, and we can't all be quiet and demure.
People have more of the warrior energy in their charts, that's for sure. And you know, it's I think with the planets, it's like there are higher vibrations of each of the planets and the lower vibration of them, you know, all playing out. And which do we choose to
But it's the same with the gene keys, isn't it? This is what we were talking about with the shadow and the gift and the city. You know, they're all there. They're just probably different ends of the same. You know, we're just
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
wow.
There was
Anything else anybody wants to add?
the only thing that I was thinking is that in terms of this Virgo energy, because we're at 29 degrees Virgo, for this moon, and that we're ending Virgo season now, it just feels like somehow we've been clearing the channels, and that ultimately the full moon was about the letting go and the release. And now the new moon is like, well, we've been clearing the channels, we've been doing our shifting, we've been, you know, releasing what no longer serves, and enough is enough, and all of that stuff. And so we've been kind of almost like clearing. I have literally been decluttering my space, which feels wonderful, but that's more physical. But we've been clearing the way. And so now what do we want to bring in? You know, and I think that's the energy of this new moon to take, is like, I'm feeling quite excited about it. I'm going to have a fire tomorrow night, and I'm going to write down, you know, my intentions and put them in the fire and things like that. Whereas Pisces full moon, it was like, what am I letting go of?
Yeah.
That was another story. But yes, I just wanted to say that in terms of tomorrow being the eclipse, the new moon, and we're getting ready for the equinox, it's a really good opportunity to kind of go, ooh, well, what do I want to bring in? You know,
In a
what
peaceful
do I want
way.
to, yeah, what do I want to fill the space that is left behind?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because we're going into Libra, right?
yeah.
So that's, you know, balance and peacefulness and, you know, all of that. The peacekeeping from a place of strength and not a place of I this is something else, isn't it? I you sometimes see people that
Yeah,
don't argue, and I'm thinking, well,
or
that's
like
beautiful.
turn
That's
yeah.
beautiful if it's who you really are and who you came here to be, or are you like that because you just have been taught to do this? So yeah, so maybe the Libra season will give us a chance to reflect and to balance our left and right and emotions and logic and all of this, yin and
Yeah.
yang, just to
The
to
interesting
reflect on it all in it from a place of peace. Yeah.
from a place of peace. The interesting thing about it is that while we're going into peaceful Libra, Mars is going into Scorpio, which it loves to be in. But that's going to be Libra season, is Mars in Scorpio. And that's very powerful. It's
Yeah.
happy there.
Transformation
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
rebirth.
And not being afraid to face the uncomfortable if you need to, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes you have to look at the stuff you don't that is that Libra wants to go like that.
Yeah.
Always
Sometimes you have to
that's
be the
crazy.
warrior. You have to be the warrior in order to get the transformation that you look for. Well, that's definitely on the collective, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
it all makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
When you say it, Amy, it does. You have a that's one of your beauties. You're one of your beautiful, you know, abilities is to make astrology make sense and in such a loving and intuitive way. I really appreciate you for that.
Thank you. That
in
feels
in a
good.
practical way. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would, just add that Libra isn't necessarily peace because it's constantly shifting to get to
Speed.
balance. It's never stable. It's always moving and
It shifts the
shifting.
scales.
Yeah, yeah, and so it's more about justice than peace, I think. Yeah. So with Mars and Scorpio, yeah, and
Yeah, there's some justice to
Just,
being a
just,
warrior. Sorry, I'm
yes,
bucking it
just,
up again.
yeah, yeah. No, 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 that's not mucking it up at all. I agree with you. You know, I agree with the standing firm, but it's not standing firm as in I have to defend this. It's like, well,
Boundaries.
nothing else makes sense. You know, it just
Yeah,
doesn't make sense. So it's a warrior, but it's got no weapons, and
yeah.
we have our it's just nothing else makes sense.
Mm.
And when I think of the Seven of Wands, which is connected to that image, that energy, wands, of course, is physical action in the physical world, but to me, it's moral action. I'm all about moral action. And you can look at somebody else doing something and you can make up you can put your own meaning on it. You see, now this has happened a lot lately, right, in the collective, is that you observe something, somebody might be behaving in what they perceive as moral or not, it doesn't matter, but your perception of it because of your own lens, are you perceiving that as immoral, even though the action was done morally? Or, it's all about our perception, it's about how we judge things. But I think it's about, you said Mars is action, but this is now our opportunity on a collective level is to act morally. And that isn't always legally. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. So I
Yeah.
think morally is the way to go forward with the wands, I think.
And
Which is that not being defensive, not having to be defensive, but just, it's standing your ground, isn't it?
yeah. And this judgment business, you've said the word judgment quite a few times, and I feel that's also really being shown with this Saturn Neptune conjunction, because the ruler of the Pisces North Node is this Neptune sitting right next to Saturn. Saturn is the capacity to judge. It's people are making so many judgments all over the place at the moment, and I've heard a lot of people saying, hang on a minute, who is right and who is wrong? It's yeah. So it's better to kind of, like the Neptunian, find some acceptance and dissolve the need to actually judge what is right or wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is actually something which has been coming up for me personally. And this was a conversation with the architect, so I was getting the quantum physics behind it. But one of the things that was made clear to me is, the observer's judgment of the observed is what defines it. And we know the self-fulfilling prophecy, okay? But actually, the universe is governed by sound and mathematics, right? I'm not an expert in either. But from a 1 + 1 = 3 perspective, from an actual quantum manifestation perspective, what you are looking at, what you are observing is the masculine, it's the projection. How you perceive it is the feminine. So that's the receptive, how you perceive and receive. In other words, how you judge what you're observing is actually how that experience is going to come into your reality. It's literally going to come into your reality at the frequency of how you have judged it. So this is why it's so important to see the divinity in everything. I bring it back to that. It's so important to see the divinity in everything in order to be able to judge it as at least neutral, or just as it's just an experience. If you can judge it from that peaceful place of neutrality, or unconditional love, or however you want to perceive it, that is this is a quantum truth. That is how it will manifest into the physical world. If we were taught this in schools and we understood quantum manifestation, the world wouldn't be in this mess, would it?
Yeah.
So that's relevant. And it also brings in what Liz talks about, the I am, so that I is the masculine and the am is the feminine. And we know that whatever you say after I am, we know that's what's going to be, right? That's the power of I am. That's the power of affirmations. Whatever you put after that is, and where you feel about what you're putting after that is whether it's going to come and be true for you. So, and
the
don't
stronger
forget
your emotion, the more quickly or the more solid that manifestation will be. So that, that's why the emotions of gratitude and love are so important now, because there's so much fear. And if you're creating it with fear, that's what you're going to bring
Yeah,
out.
a lot of people are saying, oh, the Love Light Brigade have got their head in the sand, or they're just spiritual bypassing and all of this. And
What
it's
other
like,
people, Deborah? I
yeah,
didn't
there
hear
are
that
no
at
other
all
people,
because there is
but
only me in my reality.
exactly, exactly. But it's that realization, isn't it, that we are creator beings and that we get to choose the frequency of our reality by choosing a neutral or positive judgment, reaction, reception to what we're observing.
Mm.
That's how I
Yes,
see
but also accepting that what we do experience in our reality is what we have knowingly or unknowingly created,
it. Yeah.
and not judging it then, just saying, oh, that's interesting. How
Yeah.
did I
And I
get
think that's one of the most powerful things. And I think that's what kind of got me to like learning this stuff, is because everyone was talking about the law of attraction and manifesting their desires and stuff like that. And I was just looking, thinking, well, if we are creating our own reality, the first step surely is to understand how I created the one that I've got, and have a look at that. And then when you understand how you created the one that you've got, it makes that paves the way for creating the one that you desire the
Yeah,
most,
yeah.
if that makes sense. Okay, I have pulled three cards. They're face down. Shall we have a look, ladies?
Hmm.
Interesting, interesting. Oh my goodness me, where to begin with this one? We've got the Emperor coming up first. Now, he is Aries, he's a warrior, and he is ruled by Mars. And so it's perfect. He's, oh my God, it's everything we've said coming together. Because he's also a father figure. And so my whole ancestral thing this week was through my paternal gene line, with my paternal grandmother appearing and stuff like that. So he is about the father figure. He is also that first projection that we talked about. The first one is masculine. You know, how you receive it is the feminine. And then the result is the third way, right? But he is very much, he is wands, of course, he would be fire, you know. He is very much about um, not giving your power away. He's very much about stepping into your power. So this is the Pluto, the power of Pluto. This is understanding your power as a creator being, and not giving your power away through negative judgments, or through allowing energy leakage, I want to say. So yeah, super, super powerful. He's a major arcana, which is showing it is that warrior spirit within. He's a pioneer. We are pioneers because we're going through a great awakening. You know, humanity doesn't have this, you know, documented anywhere. So we are pioneers of this great awakening. And yeah, it's about inner authority. He's an authority figure. But it is about the sovereignty that I talked about before. This inner authority is your expression of sovereignty. So yeah, he's oh my goodness me, yes. We've got an ace of we've got an oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. We've got an ace of wands. What did we say? New action, right? We've got all these wands. I said about it's physical action in the physical world. What did I say about moral action? This is divine action. When it's coming in from a cloud like this in tarot, it's divine action. It's an ace, which means it's new. We need to take new action in
Different
how
way of doing things.
different way of doing things. And it is a bit about being fiery still. It's transformational. The fire is transformational. You know, these leaves show the fruition that comes from taking moral action. There is a real energy of making a stand here, and being who you came here to be and doing what you came here to do. And I know it's about being and not doing, but by doing what we're passionate about, because of course wands is fire and courage, but passion as well. By doing what we're passionate about, it enables us to be who we came here to be. You know, so the
It's
doing is important.
it's doing non-doing. It's that it's inspired action. So there's no story behind it. There's no agenda behind it. You're just doing what needs to be done in the moment. That's right. the
Because
right
that is the
action.
action of the person that you came here to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It
beautiful,
also,
isn't it?
it also has a bit of a new moony vibe to it, really, because it's so new. It's like, okay, we're shedding, and now what are we becoming, and how are we going to do things differently? So
Mhm.
Yes, and you're gonna love the last one as well, ladies. We've got another ace, and we've got the Ace of Pentacles. Absolutely love it. Two aces together is so, so powerful. This is what happens when you step into your power. Okay. So the Ace of Pentacles, of course, is Earth. So therefore, we've got that stability, we've got that abundance, we've got that resourcefulness. So it does represent Mother Earth as well, because by taking moral action, we are helping Mother Earth heal herself. She's helping us heal ourselves. Why is it so important to be in nature? Because we are nature. And so when we go into nature, we are nurturing us. And when we nurture nature, nature nurtures us because we are all one. So this is practical, but let's not forget, ladies, that Pentacles is also financial abundance. And so the ace shows new, divine, and moral ways that we are going to increase our financial abundance. And that comes when we start being who we came here to be. That's when our divine abundance and our alignment with our soul's blueprint come into play. And that's this abundance coming in. And this is new because the reason I think it's new is because I think that our level of consciousness is our new currency. So if we look at pentacles as our currency, our level of consciousness, we are our new currency because we can do swapses, we can do this, we can do that. We are the creators of our own reality. So our level of consciousness is our new currency. So when we're looking for abundance, look at your level of consciousness.
I also think that it could be alluding to new 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 ways of looking at what abundance is rather than money. New, and also new monetary systems, and
Yes,
all of that. So yeah.
yes.
definitely. What does abundance mean to you? Yeah, I mean, galore, galore. I have everything I need and more. I mean, abundance is having everything you need and everything you want, right?
But
So,
it's feeling safe, it's feeling nurtured, it's feeling loved,
well,
it's
abundance of health, feeling healthy is a big one.
healthy, yeah, and all the time that you need and all the freedom that you want, and it's just abundance. It's yeah,
Mm,
it's
yes.
just
Oh,
everything.
Woohoo.
yes.
Uh,
That's definitely a powerful and relevant reading, isn't it, for these astrological times?
Definitely.
totally.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Is
Thank
there
you.
anything that you would like to say or share before we say goodbye?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, the only thing I would that just popped in, I don't know because of what you were just talking about, is another part of the Virgo new moon, and is just being mindful of what we digest. Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah, but it's so relevant because
Because digestion is not just food, it's our friendships, you know?
yes,
It's
but
the people that we hang out with, the environment that we go in. Do we spend time in nature, or do we go into the middle of a mall? I don't know. I don't know, that just feels important in terms of decisions and choices. We can make those choices to be more healthy and to be more abundant by being mindful of what we're taking in, including the news.
Even listening, reading, yeah,
What
who we're
films,
talking to, who we're hanging out with.
yeah, what Netflix you watch.
Yeah.
Ugh,
or
some of
not,
it
you'll
or not.
and you know what's so spooky about that is as you know, like, so Liz and I are doing the autumn equinox, and so I've been looking at the elements, the autumn elements of metal, and I was looking at the meridian lines that are relevant. And the first one is the lung meridian. So, breath work and releasing grief and stuff like that. But also the other meridian line is the large intestine. And when I was like thinking about it or contemplating all of that, it came to me about the large intestine is more like you've got the stomach and then the large intestine, so it's almost like this second stage of digestion. And so
Mm.
it came to me about uh, sorry.
That's the stomach to the small intestine. The large intestine is the colon. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, okay, being more biological. The point I was trying to make was that this is an additional stage of digestion, right? Not whether it's second, third, fourth, fifth. I mean, I'm not talking biologically. I'm just talking that you're talking about be careful what you digest. But then this is as another layer to our digestion. That's what I meant to say, whereby how we perceive what the experiences that we've had. You're saying be careful with what you eat and who you spend time with and all of this, but then how you view all of that. If you're thinking, right, I'm going to avoid these people because they're toxic and they're not good for me, that judgment in itself isn't going to be as healing as, oh, I'm flowing over here to spend more time with this person. So how we actually perceive what we have digested, and also let's say you're eating something and you choose to have a little bit of something naughty, and then you go and beat yourself up and feel guilty and shame when you go down that road, or you go, oh, that was a nice treat, I really appreciate that, I love my life. So it's about that additional stage of digestion is what I meant. And that sort of came to me with the large intestine, with the autumn energies, which we're now approaching. So yeah, it's interesting that you just suddenly said that about digestion. And then that made me think about, yeah. So we're digesting it on a physical level, but also on an emotional level and on a mental level. How are we digesting things? I
Yeah,
think that's the point.
yeah, absolutely. So it is.
Thank you.
Wow. Anything else that anybody wants to add before we say goodbye?
In a lot.
We have covered a lot, haven't we? In which case, I will say thank you, thank you, thank you to both Liz and Amy. Thank you for joining me again today. Always a pleasure. And your contact details for both of you will be in the description. Highly recommend a natal chart reading with the lovely Amy, or a transformational experience with the lovely Liz on the level of thought. So, yeah, lots of love to you both. And bye to anybody watching.